What's going on, everybody? It's Eli here from TreeFall Studios, and today I just have so many random things to update you guys on, announce, share, good news, bad news, all this kind of stuff. And cryptic posts in the Discord is not really going to reach the most people with this kind of stuff, and tweeting out a bunch of random announcements that all just need to get dropped basically so we can get moving on into where TreeFall Studios needs to be focused is not really going to work. No one's going to see it and everyone's going to be confused and people are going to miss things. I think YouTube overall is maybe the easiest way to announce things and let people start filtering into the fans feeds and stuff like that. So in this video I'm going to announce a couple of new games. I'm going to be talking about our journey leaving Unity to Unreal to back to Unity, and I'm going to be talking about business. I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things really quickly, just an update. And then if you guys want to learn more, I'm going to be trying to do a live stream today, a developer live stream on a new game that we'll be talking about in this video, so you can join me later live. This video should be coming out in the morning and the live stream should be releasing after it. So let's go ahead and get started. To preface this, the worst thing ever has basically happened recently. So if you've been following along with the channel, I've been trying to do like 5 or 6 games in the Unity game engine that we've been working on over the last couple of years, and the economy is really rough and things are getting more expensive. It's crazy. PlayStation just announced a price increase a couple of weeks ago, so the PS5 is now 5 years old and now it costs more money, and the Xbox, like yesterday or 2 days ago, just announced another price increase. So they have 2 price increases this year on 5-year-old hardware that basically nobody buys, no one wants. Less people are playing video games, groceries cost more, everything costs more. Everyone understands this. Housing costs more. So things are going up. People are playing less video games. Prices are going up. Studios are closing. Too many games are coming out. People can't play everything. I have a whole video deep diving on this probably next week, and it's the real problem with the video game industry right now. But we'll talk about that later in another video. So if you've been following along with my channels to try to combat this, I tried to work basically massive crunch overtime, 2 a.m. every night, middle of the night, working till midnight or whatever, trying to get all these games that have been started in development in Unity out the door. And I was going to try to build up a little bit of a buffer, some income savings from these games in order to transition to the Unreal Engine so that in the future our costs would go down because we would no longer be paying thousands of dollars a year for the Unity license fee. Well, it turns out that Pick-a-Block and Journey of Special Average Balloon were 2 of the 6 games that we were trying to release. It's crazy. I was going to release 6 and then I actually added 8 to the slate and like slipped some projects in there, and I'll mention that in just a second. And I basically got like 3 or 4 done before the Unity license ran out. And yeah, I'm just not going to be able to survive on this because Pick-a-Block and Journey of Special Average Balloon were the worst and second worst game launch that I have ever had in the 10 years of my entire career. It's absolutely 100% not livable income. It's not even hobby income. The sales were so bad. And, it's very interesting because, just a couple of months ago, I was saying that Maze Interim Odyssey had weak sales for the Maze series, but even that is still, I don't know, 10 times to 20 times more in the first week sold than these 2 games have sold combined, basically. So yeah, it's really, really bad. And what that has forced me to do is basically look at the rest of the slate of the games. And none of these games were supposed to be like, super amazing or like huge hitters. Like Balloon was basically just a project I threw in there because I wanted to preserve the game. And we're never coming back to Unity, so it'll be gone forever. And I'm not going to remake that game. So I'm just like, let's just get it ported, do some things. And, we had some old fans that were going to be excited for it and stuff. And but Pick-a-Block was like, I spent a lot of time on that game. I thought it was a very unique puzzle game. It's got a ton of levels, a ton of content. I even priced it really cheap. I've already changed the pricing on that because the pricing, that's a huge problem. Pricing too low now is a huge issue because you run the gambit of like people just think it's shovelware and they don't even click on it whatsoever. So you basically can't price at the floor anymore to try to move units because no one buys it. So it doesn't even work. But moving on, aside from that, I realized that basically there's all these 6 games that were going to need to come out, and each of them had to basically, all of them combined had to average out to a certain dollar figure. And with these games dropping so low, the rest of the games that I have releasing, which are very large games for our studio, Tilting Tiles, Temple Trials, Maze Rising Trials, a secret game that I'm about to mention, Perplexing Orb Touch, those are the ones that were left. Like, I assume that those will sell pretty decent, but I can't assume that because looking at these sales, they're so bad that there's no way, even if all 3 of those sold as good as the old games did in the franchises, it still wouldn't be enough money. And that's the problem, because there's no way they're going to sell as much as the games that launched in 2021, 2022, because nobody is seeing that in the industry. No one is seeing those types of sales anymore. So basically, I have decided to renew Unity one more time because there's not enough money for me to learn Unreal Engine and get any games out. We'd be out of business in 2 months. So basically, I've eat the fee. So now we've paid for it again. And basically the entire hopes of the company are going to be resting on one major game, and that's going to be a new Pitterpot game. And it's not the Pitterpot game that I'm doing with Thomas. It's actually Pitterpot Cursed Thicket, which was announced back in, I don't know, 2024, something like that. I mentioned a Pitterpot spinoff in the TreeFall Studios Developers Conference, and I basically never talked about it ever since then. And I'm going to briefly, I didn't want to announce it yet. Like, I wanted to have this full game with this amazing trailer and then have that game, you know, just go viral whenever we release it and stuff. But most likely that's not going to happen, so I'm going to go ahead and mention it here in this video, and we're going to be working on it in our live stream today as well. So for those of you who are interested, you can jump in and check out the game in the live stream. And basically, I decided to go ahead and do this and just get it announced because the only people that are really going to watch this video and the only people that are going to see that live stream are going to be the hardcore TreeFall fans who are following along with the channel. They're following along in the Discord and all that stuff, and they're going to be excited for the game, and we can start building the marketing hype. I've basically come to the conclusion that, like, I need to focus hard on one game and do more in the marketing department than I've ever done before in order to try to break above the sales barrier that is, like, seemingly holding all these games back, and, like, focus all of our audience into, like, if you're gonna buy any game from TreeFall, like, if you want to buy all the games we release over the next couple of months, that's awesome. That's going to help us out. But I'm going to try to focus everyone. Like, if you're going to buy one game, it's going to be this one, because this is the one that is going to be, like, probably the most mainstream and reach the most people and hopefully get enough reviews to get into the algorithm. And actually, you know, it was very interesting. I had a conversation with Sony this week, and obviously I can't mention anything that we talked about. It's all covered under NDA, but I actually got to talk to some people from the company, and they actually know about Pitterpot and stuff. So I'm hopefully, I might try to pitch some things to them with Pitterpot franchise or whatever. So that's a complete side note. So everything is going to hinge on Pitterpot, and we're going to be talking about that, going crazy in a live stream today. I have an absolutely unbelievable new Pitterpot game for you guys. Completely changed character controller, new levels, new flow for the game, new characters, new music, new art, all this stuff. And, you know, I wanted to do a big trailer, like I said, but like I said, you know, said that twice in a row. Only the fans are going to really see this video, the close fans that care about the TreeFall Studios and stuff like that. So I hope you guys are excited. And we're going to start ramping up with devlogs for Pitterpot going forward. This is already longer than I thought it was going to be. So let's go ahead and run through the other announcements. And I'm getting these out of the way because there was no good way to tweet these and, like, have enough people see them. So this is for the people who are following along. So our next project is actually Night Detective. It comes out in 6 days. I haven't announced this whatsoever. It is a port of the PS4 game to the PS5, so it's just a quick port. We did this in order to learn some PlayStation Network features, the activity features. I didn't have those in some of my other games, and it was going to be required coming forward. So in order to learn how to do that PlayStation Network code, I just ported Night Detective. So if you've never bought the game before, you can now buy it on PS5. If you want to buy the game a second time and play Night Detective again, I guess you can. It's still just $1.99 or whatever. So you know, whatever, it's cheap. That's not really going to be a huge sales driver for us, but a lot of people do like Night Detective, so that's coming out in a week. That was one of the things we finished with Unity before losing the license the first time. And then the next thing is new word search game. It's called 1-2 Exquisite Word Search. And actually, this game is going to be on the PlayStation Store later this evening. I was going to try to have it up before the live stream, but there's no way, looking at this recording time, that it's going to get up. So it's going to be up later today, and you guys can put it on your wish list. I wasn't going to do any more word search games, to be honest, but my wife actually wanted to do another one. She likes the word search games. She was the one who named this game 1-2 Exquisite Word Search. We came up with a bunch of different names, and you know, that's the one she picked and she thought was the best. And she likes to help me come up with the word categories, the puzzle categories, and come up with the 10 words and stuff. And we were just like brainstorming, having fun together one day, and we came up with enough categories. We're like, oh, we could just do another game. So 1-2 Exquisite Word Search is going to be coming out soon. That game was supposed to come out in November. My original schedule was this Pitterpot game was going to come out in October. And Word Search and Tilting Tiles was going to come out in November, and Maze was going to come out in December. And those are going to be the big games that were going to save the company, basically. But I'm changing the schedule around because I feel like I need to put all of our eggs in one basket with Pitterpot, and that it's got to go well. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, this game has to sell. It's going to be a higher price because once you see the game, you're going to realize, like, oh, this is a much bigger game. I'm going to talk about some of the features and things like that in the live stream, but it's got to sell way more copies than I've been selling for games at a higher price. It's going to be extremely difficult. We're going to have to break past the TreeFall audience. We're going to have to break past our normal PlayStation audience. We're going to have to reach into the casual audience, the hardcore gamer audience. This game is going to have something for everyone, and I'm very excited about what I'm going to be doing for marketing, but we're going to have to push Pitterpot hard. He's going to be my mascot, and if you want to play Pittercart in the future, he's going to have to save the company now. So 1-2 Word Search is going from November to October. So that's just going to be our game in October. And I think I'm going to just put Pitterpot in November by itself. So we have the rest of September, October, and all of November to market Pitterpot. And we're going to be doing that to really get that big push. And then probably that means December is going to be Tilting Tiles, and Maze is probably going to be January. Honestly, that's kind of cool with me anyways, because January was the original launch date of the original Maze, so we'll go on like a, you know, I think it was 2016. It might have been 2015. So it's either 10 or 11 years since the launch of the original game. So it's going to be like an anniversary thing. We'll probably launch on the same day. And then if all these games go well, we'll keep making games. And if they don't, sayonara, there will be no more TreeFall Studios in January. So anyways, so we have Word Search coming out. We got Night Detective coming out. Tilting Tiles, Temple Trials is going to be coming out on Steam. And we haven't released a game on Steam since 2023. And so that page is going to be live pretty soon, either tonight or the next couple of days. So you can start putting that on your wish list. I just announced Pitterpot and announced the live stream. So that rambling aside, those are all my news dumps. That's Word Search, Night Detective, Tilting Tiles on Steam, a new Pitterpot game, a new live stream coming forward. 5 little announcements really quickly, just to go ahead and get that out there. And the games, you know, the stuff about the games and the business, and having to stick with Unity one more year. So if theoretically, you know, if we can release all these games and make enough money to stay in business, then we will still transition most likely off of the Unity engine, because I don't want to keep paying it. But basically in order to stay in business, I had to do it one more time. And also in order to finish that game with Thomas Stewart, I needed to have the Unity longer because there was no way we were going to be able to work it out between the things going on in his schedule and the things going on in my schedule. Yeah, we weren't going to be able to finish it, so I kind of wanted to finish that game. But that's probably going to come out mid next year if it comes out, at this point. It all just depends on the next couple of games. But all right, guys, I got to give a huge shout out to everybody who supports TreeFall Studios on Patreon.com. I got to give a personal shout out to Mandy, Shark and Minnow, Thomas Stewart, Space My Name, Joe Nana, Mr. Troy, Jamil De Beer. I believe that is everybody off the top of my head. Thank you guys for what you do for TreeFall Studios on Patreon.com. If you're interested, you can check out the Patreon page in the links down below. I will catch you guys in the live stream in a few hours. See you guys in the next video.